Okay, Women of Vision, we are finally live with Rebecca Bazemore. Good morning, Rebecca. How are you doing?
I'm good.
I hope
we're
this...
We're determined to figure this out because this is such a strong message that people just have to hear.
I know. So I am going live from my phone and I'm video calling Rebecca from my computer. Oops, where'd she go? Shoot. I'm so sorry. I don't know how that happened. Dang it. I'm messing up here. Did I hang up on you?
The learning curve. No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but where'd your face go?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. This is fun. Okay. It says video chat ended. Call again. That is so weird.
I'm still here.
There you are.
You see me?
I see you.
Okay.
You're just on my, like... Whoa. Hang on. 1 second, people. I'm so sorry. We'll figure this out.
We're learning together.
Yeah. Okay. Darn it. All right, so there's Rebecca. Just can't see me. I'm down there in the corner. She's more important. Yes, it's all about being part of live. Hi, Tina. I'll go ahead and read the mission statement one more time so we have it clear. Together, Women of Vision will promote, support, motivate, and empower each other to achieve our dreams. With a spirit of integrity and excellence, we will motivate and thrive, activating our unique abilities. By empowering each other, we will not only achieve our personal and professional goals, but positively affect our communities economically, ethically, and socially, to then duplicate success in women throughout Reading and beyond. Women of Vision is a movement, not a meeting. We are women empowering women locally and globally. We connect female professionals and entrepreneurs to fuel a fundamental paradigm shift from competition to collaboration, solitude to accountability. Collectively, we will encourage powerful women to become change agents in our community and throughout the world. So, Rebecca is here with us this morning to talk about, let's see, I have to,
words.
I can't see your bio and all that now.
Here.
Let me see if I can get to your bio and have you on the screen at the same time. I don't know if that's going to happen. Open chat. Oh, okay. That's awesome. Let me get to that. Sorry about that.
Multitasking.
Okay. Can I scroll? Yes, I can. Okay, so here we go. Rebecca Bazemore is a single mother of 3 and a survivor of domestic violence. She is currently a sales, marketing, and coaching professional at Uriah Faber's UFC gym in Rockland, California. Rebecca is currently a competitive blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Team Alliance black belt Chad Bingham at UFC Gym Rockland, where she teaches women's self-defense. Her passion for teaching women and children stems from the confidence and healing she has found in her own training journey. She trains and competes in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu right now and is a blue belt. She has a background in Krav Maga and boxing. She teaches women's self-defense and has competed 17 times in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu since she was a white belt. She's had 7 super fight sub-only matches, gi and no gi, and she's a motivational speaker. She serves on the campus safety team at her church, Jesus Culture Sacramento. She's sponsored by Total Nutrition Sacramento and ambassador for, is it Josie Heishi?
Josie Heishi.
Josie Heishi and Habrock Sports. She trains at UFC Gym Rockland, Uriah Faber's under coach Chad Bingham. Okay, that's an amazing bio. I love that, and it really resonates with me because some of that, I'm not a blue belt yet, but a lot of your bio I can relate to.
Yeah.
So, Rebecca is a speaker, and she's going to give us some awesome information about. Sorry, I lost
Our
my
words.
Speaking and the power of words. All right, Rebecca, go ahead.
Okay, so it's just been on my heart lately. I've had to think a lot about my words and been very intentional about the things that I say. Not just the things that I say, but if you go onto my Facebook page, you'll see this video that I posted for Women Today by Lisa Nichols, and she says a lot of what's been on my heart. So we talk about words and how they change everything. I posted that this morning. Like, words change everything. They really do. How do they change? So there are, like, I like to do these like very visual things. So if you're on there watching, I can't see your comments, but if you could do this for me just for a second, just kind of close your eyes and think or say out loud, I am. And then be very intentional to listen to the words that come next in your mind. Like, what are those words? What are those thoughts after the words I am? And this is something that I have to do and put into practice myself, something I have to think about all the time, because it's easy for us to kind of fall back into this comfort zone of, oh, I am, and have it followed by something very negative. So I am stupid. I am not enough. I am not smart enough. I didn't get this done. I didn't get that done. I just can't keep up. This is impossible. How can I? And in those moments, the thing that I try to put in practice now versus even a year ago, 2 years ago, is I stop myself and I say no, and I turn it back around and I just speak truth over it. So I am, if it's, for instance, I say, I am so stupid, and I stop and I'm like, wait a minute, no. And I say the opposite. So I say, I am so intelligent. I am so proud of myself. I am so going to get this done. I'm going to kill it. And in those moments, what you do is you're taking this very negative thought that can eventually kill you mentally, physically, emotionally, and you're using the most powerful weapon that we have. And the most powerful weapon that we have for negative mindset and for, those negative words is the opposite, the truth. All of those little things that we say about ourselves, they're lies. They're complete and total lies. It's not the truth. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to wear it as your identity. And so what happens is, at a very young age, we're told these things, even if it's by, a kid that bullied us in elementary school, or an abusive parent, or even a teacher that's stupid, or you're never going to get it, or, that mentality. We, somewhere along the line, we pick it up and we wear it as our identity. We believe it. We partner with it as our truth. And then we walk through life with that thing, wearing it on our shoulders, wearing it in our heart, wearing it in our mind, and then we keep saying it to ourselves over and over. We keep saying it, even if it's just in our minds. And you can put on a mask and say, oh, I'm very confident, and I'm this and I'm that. But when no one else is there in your mind, no one else can hear, no one else can see what's going on. I'm just going to ask you guys today, be really honest with yourself, because I would portray a confidence when I was coming into, I first started training jiu-jitsu, and I started finding a confidence and a strength inside like never before, but I was still putting on this mask and pretending to a certain level, almost that fake it till you make it kind of thing, and I had a lot of things going on at that time when I first started competing, and I was portraying something that I just wasn't yet. And now I've had to battle through the last few years, like this internal battle of I'm not enough, and then having to stop and say, wait a minute, no, I am. I'm more than enough. So what I want to talk about today is the weapon that we have. So what I wrote down was your internal voice. What your internal voice has been telling you, if it's negative, it is a lie, right? So the way that we battle that is to out loud speak something that is truth, that is positive, that is real. And that's the only way really to break those lies down and break them off of you. You want to speak the opposite. and then walk in it, like live, excuse me, live from that place of truth instead of living from the place of lie. And we do this for our children, and we do this for our friends and family, and we do this for everyone. But especially those of us who are mothers, like we know, we'll say that to our kids over and over: you are smart, you're beautiful, you are wonderful, you're so good at this, just keep going. But we don't say that to ourselves often enough, right? So our words are very powerful, and we use them to build up other people, but what do we say when no one else is around, when no one else can hear what's going on in our minds? So you have to actually choose in order to do this. Like, you have to choose to stop in the moment, every single moment, and say the opposite. But not only that, when you begin doing that, you begin creating a really powerful life, and you begin creating this really powerful person, this whole healed person inside. And that holds you accountable. A lot of people, we get really caught up in being comfortable, and the sad thing is that our comfortable place usually is a place of abuse, neglect, depression. We get comfortable there. There's not a lot of work there. We kind of sit back in it and say, well, this is just my life, and this is the hand that I was dealt, and I can't do anything about that. And while some of that is very true, I grew up in domestic violence. I was literally born into domestic violence. My father was a pedophile. My mother was a young mother, and she, did the best that she could with the tools that she had, mentally, emotionally, physically. But it was a really rough first 25 years of my life, because being born into domestic violence, you have this cycle of violence that you just keep living out over and over. That was my lie that I was living in, that this is all I'm worth, and this is all that men are, and this is all that, is going to happen for me and for my life, because that's just how it's always been. And so if you want to know somebody who's broken off lies, like, that's me. Like, I've had to fight to get to where I am, and where I am is just scratching the surface. But we get into this repetitive cycle, and that the trauma and the dysfunction is our comfort. It's our comfort zone. It's this comfort blanket. It's the only real thing that we know. And so it's a really sad thing, but in order to live in truth and to change your circumstances and to change your life and have the kind of life that you really want in living from truth, it's going to require you to change. It's going to require your life to change. It's going to require you to say no to people. It's going to require you to be okay with the people that leave you, the people that don't like you changing, that want you to stay the same. So in that being said, if you choose to do this, if you choose to say, okay, I'm going to combat those lies with truth, and I'm going to start speaking the opposite over myself, you're going to start changing internally. And you have to know that there's a lot of work that comes with that. There's a lot of changes that comes with that in life. You'll start seeing people leave. You'll have to choose to leave certain situations, relationships, groups, whatever. And you're going to have to know that doing the best for you means putting in the really hard work and stopping in the moment and saying, okay, I'm choosing something better for myself now. And loving yourself to the point where people are not going to recognize you anymore. And some people are going to say, wow, she's incredibly selfish. Like, she doesn't want to help me with this anymore. She doesn't want to help me with that anymore. And that comes from creating a boundary where there was no boundary before. So that's really the things that were on my heart to share this morning. I don't know if you have questions or thoughts or anything like that, but I really would like to challenge everyone, if you're ready for that change and to make your life complete truth, to start walking and living from that place of truth, every single day, every moment that a negative thought comes up, stop, right? Dead in the tracks, just stop and say, okay, no, what's the opposite? I am smart. I am beautiful. I am successful. I am loved. I am worthy. I am good. I am more than enough. I'm healthy. What is that for you? So, questions or discussion, let's talk about it.
Yeah, if you guys have any comments or questions, I can see your comments, so I can read it to Rebecca, and she can answer that for you. Rebecca, I think that's just amazing that you can come on and tell your story like that, and How long has it been since you left your abusive relationship?
Oh, relationships. So since I was, a little girl, let's talk about, I'll say, we left my dad when I was, my older sister told me I was like 3. I remember it a little different. When you have a traumatic event, sometimes timelines get pushed around a little bit, but I was between the ages of 3 and 5. I was very young. I have, I'm the baby of 6. So, I was the youngest, and I don't remember quite as much as my older siblings do, but I do remember getting swooped up into a van in the middle of the night and leaving that, which was very traumatic. After that, it was like that set the tone for everything, right? Because we were leaving my dad, and our dads, I think, are, for women, that's the example of what we look for in a mate, which can be scary when you don't have the right or the appropriate type of example. So starting since I was like, junior high, and I started having little boyfriends and things, like every single relationship was traumatic and abusive and wrong. So all of those relationships, it was like, to this day, I take it like, this is what I learned from jiu-jitsu. When you lose, you learn. And so each time I feel like I learned a little lesson, and I tried to carry that with me, and I learned a little lesson, and I tried to carry that with me. My marriage, my first marriage, I got married when I was 20. I wanted so badly to have everything that I never had growing up. So my choice for getting married was, I'm pregnant, and I am not going to let my child be in a divorced household. So I'm going to get married, and we're going to stay together no matter what.
Yeah.
And it was a very naive thinking. And I even had, family members who were like my sister was like, you don't have to marry him just because you're pregnant. Like, it's okay. And I'm like, well, that's what you do. You get pregnant, you get married. And it was just so naive, I knew. My best friend came to me when I was pregnant with my first child. It was before I got married. And she was like, I caught him with another woman. And I was determined. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to forgive him then. And we're just going to stay together forever. And that, it was like the video that I posted this morning. I accepted something that was not truth. I accepted that, and I just kept going, and clinging to this comfort zone of dysfunction. Then it wasn't until 5 years later, I got a call from the IRS. It was like I put this blinder. I was just like this, like, no, I don't want to see it. I don't care. It doesn't exist if I don't see it. And I would ignore the women, and I would ignore the phone calls of women telling me that they're going to like beat me up and all this stuff on his phone. And I would ignore the horrible websites I would see that would pop up on our computer and searching for women in our area. And like, I would ignore all of that. I'm going to stay married. I'm going to honor this marriage, and I would ignore the small signs of abuse, the threats and the put downs and the yelling that eventually escalated to throwing things at me and putting your fist in my face and I'm going to kill you if you leave me. Yeah. I ignored all those things until finally our bodies have a way of, and I was telling my daughter this the other day, if you hold something inside, your body will somehow get it out for you, right? So whether it's tears or my daughter draws, she sketches, and it's always sketching an eye with a tear streaming down, just one eye with a tear. And I told her, it's really interesting to me that you don't like to cry, but when you draw, that's all you draw. Your body has a way of expressing itself, no matter what it is. And so for me, I had a panic attack at work. I had a massive panic attack where they had to call the ambulance. So the ambulance came and picked me up, and I didn't want to go. And I'm rambling the whole time in the ambulance. Please don't tell my husband. I don't want him to know, rambling some stuff off. And as I get to the hospital, they had a social worker come and talk to me because of what I was saying in the ambulance. Social worker found out that I had 2 small children. So she comes in and she's just real. She tells me the truth. She looks me in my face and she says, sweetheart, you don't have to leave him. But if he flips over another table or goes into another fit of rage throwing something at you and he misses you and hits your children, I will take your children from you. And that woke me up. I was like, no, not my babies. And that's the one thing that I feel like I've always done right, is the protection of my children. Because I didn't have that. I didn't have someone protecting me when I was a child. I had no one advocating for me. I had no one saying something's not right. You know, my kids are not okay.
Yeah.
I've always had this very deep, close connection with my children. And so I was like, okay, well, that's it then. If it comes between him or my kids, my kids win. And that was what started the process. But I get this call. The reason I had the panic attack, I get this call from the IRS, and they're like, did you know that you owe us money? You guys haven't paid taxes in this amount of time. And I'm like, what are you talking about? My husband handles that. What do you mean? And basically we were, should have been bankrupt, and the IRS was going to start freezing things because he hadn't paid any of the taxes. So I started working with the IRS, and this is how I started uncovering like who my ex-husband really was. And, that was why I spun out at work and had the panic attack. That was the first relationship that I really had to leave, in that way. The second time around, my second divorce, it was just a matter of, also when I started dating, I had 2 kids, and people made me feel like, you're so lucky that someone wants to be with you. You have 2 children. Oh my gosh, that's so amazing that this man is willing to take you on. And I still, even though I learned a little lesson from the time before, I didn't think enough of myself to say, I'm actually worth a lot, and my children are too. So I allowed the small things. I allowed the put downs. I allowed to be the butt of all of his jokes. Even when we were dating, I allowed him to say things like, I'll take you out for Valentine's Day, but I'm not going to pay for your kids. I allowed those little things to happen, thinking I was so lucky that a man even wanted to talk to me, because I was a single mom of 2 kids. Who would want me?
Yeah, and it's what we put out there too. Our limiting beliefs will attract what you tell yourself. So if you say, I don't want a man that talks to me like this, or even if you say I don't want it, it can still come. So you have to say, I have a man that is amazing.
Yeah.
But I know.
I finally got to the point now where I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see the little things. I'm like, oh, he said that. That's not really healthy. And I have to stop and remind myself, even where I'm at right now today. No, I don't like that. I didn't like the way that made me feel. And check in with myself. How did that make me feel inside? That felt like a put down. And I have to tell myself the opposite, because I wasn't raised with any sort of a healthy, grid, a healthy boundary for relationships. So a put down seems normal almost, which is sad, but it's true. And so that goes back to that internal voice. What are you telling yourself? Because whatever you're telling yourself, trust and believe other people will tell you the same thing, and you'll believe it because you say it to yourself.
Right.
Why would you believe it?
Yeah, and it's a model for our kids also. So if they see you speaking that way or feeling that way, they're going to think that's the way they have to do it. And so, it just reminds me of a post I saw on Facebook the other day of a guy saying, I don't want a wife because, and these negative things. And I'm like, why would you, teach your kids that? If you don't want that, then don't say that. Say, I want a wife with these qualities,
Yeah.
And you can get that. So,
or being obsessed with weight and how many calories you're eating, or being obsessed with, anything in particular yourself. You might tell your kids you are beautiful, you are intelligent, you are this, and you may do that really, really well with your children. But then you go and say in front of them, or when you think they're not looking or listening, which they always are looking and listening, but when you think that they're not looking and listening, and you're saying to yourself, gosh, you're so ugly, or I look old, or I gained 10 pounds, or how many calories does that have in it? Kids are listening when you don't even think, and when you're on the phone and you're just in your own zone and you're talking to a girlfriend or whatever, or, you're watching something on TV or whatever, they're listening when you think that they're not. Perfect example. I have to talk about calories and things like that all the time. And, my little one, both her dad and I are both, very fit people. We like to exercise. And so somehow in conversation, she heard at 6 years old something about calories. And she tells my oldest daughter, who's 15, how many calories does that have? Oh. And I'm like, oh no, what you thinking about that at 6 years old? And so I have to watch, my vocabulary around her, because I don't want her thinking, she doesn't understand. I don't want her thinking about how many calories does something have at 6 years old,
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We had one comment here from Michelle. She says, I take your words to heart. I'm my own worst enemy. I too come from a family of abuse, so I still struggle with self-confidence and feeling like I am enough. I will definitely practice your words.
Yes.
And Marie's is in a meeting. She'll watch later. So, yeah, I can imagine how many women have gone through just some emotional, or physical abuse, and they don't realize what emotional abuse is.
You don't think, oh, I'm not being abused. People don't even know what gaslighting is. People don't even know that negative words and somebody speaking negatively over you is abuse. And that's not just in romantic relationships. That's in any sort of relationship, whether it's business or friendships or family, siblings. Somebody is telling you constantly a lie about yourself. You're not enough, or you're stupid, or you're this, or you're that. Those things are abusive, and you get to choose if you want to be around that or not. And there's nothing wrong with holding that healthy boundary and saying, even to like a friend or a sibling or a business partner, I don't accept your words. I don't accept that. That's not my identity. Please don't speak that over me. Please don't say that to me. And if they don't respect that boundary, there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, I'm going to step away until you understand that my boundary is real and I'm not going to accept that in my life. But that goes back to the work. Are you willing to put in the work, and your life will change? Like, I'm not kidding. Everything will change. At the time, it may hurt. At the time, it may feel like you're losing everything and everyone that you hold dear and valuable. But you got to let that stuff go. It's like, when I got out of a relationship, I cut my hair off, and I'm like, okay, I've had dead ends. And I didn't realize how powerful it was when I was saying it. But I told somebody at work, well, it was a bunch of dead ends, so I cut it off. And they're like,
sorry, guys.
Oh my gosh, that changed my life right now. And I'm like, really? Why? Oh, I cut off my dead ends so I could have new growth. But this is the truth of life. In order for you to grow, sometimes you've got to get rid of some stuff. You've got to get rid of some junk. You've got to cut it off.
Right. I lost your picture. I don't know how I did that. I'm so sorry. So you can keep talking, but I'm trying to find you on my computer.
Okay.
She was. So, yeah, sorry about that interruption.
It's okay.
You can go ahead and keep talking if you'd like, or...
we're making this work today. Yeah. Is it any more questions, or...
I don't have any. We have 2 people still watching, but if anybody has any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comments. We can answer now or later if you're watching the replay. I apologize for all the technical difficulties. I need to learn how to do this better. Trying to get her picture back on for you guys. But if you have any questions about Women of Vision, you can go to our Facebook page, Women of Vision Movement, or our website, womenofvisionmovement.com. We have an Instagram, Women of Vision Movement, and a podcast every Saturday. Our Facebook Lives are every other Friday. So I'm so happy that we got you on our live today, Rebecca.
Me too.
I just don't know what happened to your darn picture. That is so weird. Oh my goodness. I was trying to exit the screen so big so I could click on something and then you disappeared. But I apologize. do you have a website or somewhere where people can go to see your lives on Facebook, right?
Yep. Yeah, Rebecca Bazemore on Facebook. I go live. It's kind of sporadic, but I go live. I was planning on going live on this very similar topic today, later this afternoon. And then I probably will start going on the lives on Instagram. It's like the TV channel thing on Instagram. I haven't figured that out quite yet. And pretty soon I'll be creating a YouTube channel, so keep a look for that. I am BJJ Girls Rule on Instagram. So if you guys want to find me on Instagram and Facebook, that's where I am. I also have BJJ Girls Rule on Facebook, so you can follow me there as well. And yeah, if you request me, you can also send me a message on Facebook. I'll accept you on Facebook as well. So I have some security settings on that one.
Okay, that's awesome. Are you going to be speaking anywhere soon that people can?
I am. Next Friday I will be at Sacramento. GrowthCon is Tag Talks live event in Roseville. It's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's going to be a really great event. It's Tom Bleu from the he's the creator or co-founder of Quest Nutrition. And then we have a bunch of other speakers, and Raul Lopez as the owner of Tag Talks Live, is the creator of Tag Talks Live. So he's the one running the entire event. I have a really great discount code if you guys want to come. It's going to be a good event, all about growth and development and in life and business, personal, all of it. So contact me on Facebook if you want some more info. I've been posting it to my Facebook page and to my Instagram page. I'm also going to be in a fundraiser show. It's similar to Dancing with the Stars, but it's called Stand Up and Dance. I'm teaming up with Stand Up Placer, which is a local group for Placer County that it's a nonprofit that helps to get people out of domestic violence.
She's cutting out a little.
To get out of trafficking. It helps give resources to all kinds of people all the time. They're amazing. So it's a fundraiser. I'll also be accepting an award next month as well, which is March 2nd. So yeah, I'll probably go live on my speech just because it's going to be it's going to be a good speech. I've already started writing it. I am writing a book, so I will keep everybody posted on that. And yeah, I've got a lot of things. I'm competing again
that's
all
awesome.
year. So
in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I have not done a competition yet, but one day I will.
Do it.
I know.
Do it.
One day. I gotta take it slow for now. Still don't know what happened to your video, anyways. Well, I'm glad that we were able to go live and enjoyed our live and listening to your story, and I'm excited to meet you. I can't wait to meet you in person, because I'm also, in jiu-jitsu, and I also have 3 children, and wasn't in a physically abusive relationship, but I think mentally for sure. So I will check out your lives, and everybody go to Rebecca Bazemore's Facebook page and watch her lives. And if you want to message her, have any questions or comments, go ahead and do that on this feed from our live. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, and I hope you have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.